Teach an old dog new tricks.com. More than 40 hours of free computer training. Sit, stay, and learn. Thank you. Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz, and in this PowerPoint presentation we are going to talk about animations. Now again, animations are a little bit different than transitions because transition shows you how the whole slide comes in. But with animations, what we can do is we can focus on how parts of the slide come into our presentation. And I personally think this has some more validity to working with slides than necessarily the transitions. And the reason I say that is because when you're presenting, you quite often want to try to make sure that your audience doesn't get ahead of you. So if you're trying to pull information in, it might be easier if you can control the flow of that information. So for just a moment, imagine on this particular slide that we want to add some animations. And to point out something, we really have three things. We have the picture of Thomas Jefferson, we have our main heading here, PowerPoint, and then we have by Tony Holowitz. So there's really three things here. And we can control the way they come in. So you can control these coming in and then control the flow of the information based on what you want to say to your audience. So for example, I clicked on Thomas Jefferson. Now up here we have all kinds of ways we can add information. We have things on the way the entrance works for information. We have emphasis and we have exit. You'll notice emphasis and exit and some motion pass. Now the way they think of some of these things I'm not sure. But I'm going to focus really right here on the entrance. And you'll notice as I put my pointer over these items, it's going to show you what happens when you do this stuff. So it doesn't really matter what I pick, but let's just pick something. So what we did is we picked Thomas Jefferson and we added the zoom feature. Now, I want you to notice to the top left of his picture, there's the number 1. Next, I want you to go down to PowerPoint, and we're going to change the way this looks. Let's do it as a shape. And again, it doesn't really matter which one I choose, but once I'm done, I want to draw your attention that there's a number 2 to the left of PowerPoint. Number 3 is by Tony Holowitz. So now let's go up and do something else. What do we want to do? Let's do a bounce, just for the heck of it. There we go. Bounces right in. So now we have 1, 2, 3. If we want to see what this is going to look like, I'm going to come up here and click on Preview right here. And I'm going to preview it. So when we create our presentation or bring this slide in, first, we could potentially have a transition, but second, we could have the preview. Let me do that one more time. Jefferson, PowerPoint, and then the bouncing by Tony Holowitz. But in my opinion, the better way to really show you how this works is by doing this a little bit different. If you come up here and click on Slideshow, we can do a slideshow and see what it's like. Now because we only have one slide, whether we do current slide or from the beginning, doesn't really matter. So let me just do from beginning. So here's our slide. Here is the transition we use to bring it in. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click somewhere on the screen, or I can use my right arrow key on the keyboard. So I'm going to click once and it brings in Thomas Jefferson. So try to imagine yourself giving a presentation. This is projected up on the screen and you're talking and you start talking about Thomas Jefferson, and as you do that you either click somewhere on the screen or you use the right arrow key. In this case, the second one, I'm going to use the right arrow key. So let's say I was about to say, Thomas Jefferson is a big fan of PowerPoint. I hit the arrow key and PowerPoint comes in. And how do I know that? Because there's a presentation being done all about this by Tony Holowitz. And I hit the right arrow key and brought that in. So try to imagine you're in a presentation and you really want to control the flow of information as it comes up on the screen. If it comes all at once, well, me as the viewer, I'm seeing three things here. But if I control this one by one, I can bring it in and really control the flow of the presentation and the timing. So to get away from this right now, I'm going to hit the escape key on my keyboard and come back here. So when we look at PowerPoint, there are slideshows, I misspoke. There's animations, transitions, and the design. Those are the three main components that the average PowerPoint user can use quite easily. And there's so many choices that what I urge you to do is go in and first create your presentation and save it. Just get the content in there. Then do a save as by going File, Save As, and call it something like Presentation-B, the letter B. That's your second one. And go in and add all kinds of stuff to it. At the end of the day, if you really find you don't like it, well, you can always go back to the first one you saved, the original. So you might create a perfect presentation in your mind. You put all the transitions, all the effects, everything in. But maybe for the third audience you're going to present it to, instead of the first or the second audience, you want to do something slightly different. Again, do a save as and do new transitions, new designs, new animations, whatever you want to do. So once you get the basic information in there, all your content, then you can go back and edit it multiple times by just changing the look of the animations, transitions, and designs. So having said that, this is really the area where you can have some fun if you see it as that, or you can waste a lot of time, which is often how I view it. And we'll look at this in a little more detail as we go further. In the next tutorial, I'm going to talk in more detail about some of the things you can do with a presentation. My name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you so very much for being here. Have a great day.